status, we have collaborated with the Nigerian Institute of Oil Palm Research, NIFO, and the Oil Palm Growers Association of Nigeria to help develop the sprouted nuts into oil palm seedlings to be distributed to our smallholders at subsidized rates with the development of the field nurseries, which is ongoing at the moment. We have also commenced the single largest agricultural productivity reform with the launching of the transparent and digitally managed 30 billion commercial agricultural development fund called Project GROW, which is a 6-year private sector-driven commercial agricultural credit guarantee scheme, seeking to close the collateral gaps needed to scale up small and medium-scale agricultural businesses. Project GROW covers the 5 value chains of maize, rice, cassava, cattle fodder, fishes, which serve to create 100,000 direct jobs with over 50 billion naira in revenues. The re-establishment of the Cross River State College of Agriculture and Forestry of Vonum in Okpara local government area of Cross River State is a deliberate push towards agricultural development in our state. Full academic activities will soon commence in the last quarter of this year to enable the state to train sufficient middle-level manpower in various areas of need. This college will facilitate an aggressive forestry program that will develop a 3 million tree plant nursery as priority to restore our green forests. We have flagged off a 12,000 hectare land development project at the Fedem community in Okpara local government area for our rebels crop cultivation, and we have so far invested 6 billion naira in partnership with the Nigerian Agricultural Mechanization and Equipment Leasing Company. This project is aimed at onboarding outgrowers expected to cultivate rice, maize, cassava, wheat, coffee, and cowpea. And we are sure that this agricultural project will take over 4,000 people out of the unemployment market. And of course, will create wealth in an unprecedented manner. We have also inaugurated a 50,000 hectare rice farm at Ndok, Ogoja local government area and supported the project with a credit scheme in which the Cross River State government is allocating 150 million naira monthly to agricultural development. Through this initiative, we have engaged with farmers groups as part of agricultural revolution that is focusing initially on some short-term food crops like cassava, rice, etc. There are ongoing substantial efforts by my administration to regain moribund cocoa estates in Ikom and Okpara, to include them in the smallholder scheme during the next allocation exercise. And in compliance with the European Union deforestation regulation, we have approved the establishment of 6 new cocoa farm estates in 6 local government areas and commenced the extension of the current smallholder cocoa development scheme to cover the development of estates in Akamkpa, Akpabu, Udukpani, Ikom, Okpara, Okpara local government areas in the first phase. The Cross River State Executive Council also approved the acquisition of 108 tractors for distribution among agricultural cooperative and farmer groups to boost agricultural productivity and ensure food security in the state. This agricultural initiative and the acquisition of these tractors will have a transformative impact on mechanized agriculture, and there's a clear distribution plan targeting at youth cooperatives across all local government areas to provide job opportunities for our teeming population. In line with our own desire to run an all-round agricultural production, we have initiated the Cross River State-wide Irrigation Infrastructure Development Project, SWITCH, that will collaborate with the State Ministry of Environment, Office of Surveyor General, Forestry Commission, and other agricultural development partners to study and design the state irrigation project to enhance sustainability and long-term holistic approaches to our irrigation project as a primary means to supplement rainfall and improve productivity. My better half also passionately impacted the sphere of women in agriculture as follows. On the 16th of July, 2024, the Women Agriculture Empowerment Program was launched by the Office of the Wife of the Governor of Cross River State in collaboration with Humanity Without Borders Empowerment Initiative, targeting fish and water leaf farmers in Cross River State, with the aim of empowering women and uplifting agricultural sector in the southern region of the state. Ladies and gentlemen, on the good governance paradigm in my administration, I recall that on August 12, 2009, during her visit to Nigeria, Hillary Clinton had this to say: "What Africa needs is not more strong men. It needs more strong democratic institutions that will stand the test of time." Without good governance, no amount of oil, no amount of aid, no amount of effort can guarantee Nigeria's success. But with good governance, nothing can stop Nigeria from becoming great. After perusing Clinton's thesis for development of a people and accepting to present this keynote address, I had to dig into a formulation of the pillars of good governance, and that the people's participation in governance and the observance of rule of law is one pillar that must not be ignored. Transparency in public agenda and building responsiveness of stakeholders to agenda consensus with the people and creating inclusiveness of vulnerable populaces is another very important one. Guaranteeing equity and accountability in public decisions. Other good governance parameters entail efficiency and standardization in physical deployments and appropriations. Taking responsibility for policies and ensuring a functional reward system that drives the set of agenda, creating awareness and slashing corruption to its lowest. The third dimension is demonstrating courage in solving problems through synergies with developmental partners and civil societies, and driving the necessary reforms of diverse sectors with eyes on constructive continuity in government policies and programs. To achieve the above good governance result, my team and I constituted an agenda christened the People First Manifesto that drove our campaigns upon assumption of office. And in addition to the operation Feed the People First, we also recreated our environment through massive infrastructure renewals in health, education, and sports. We lifted burdens from our people by paying fees for candidates, clearing over a decade backlog of pensions and gratuities, and removing a 25 years embargo on employment, among many other revolutionary decisions, in tandem with what our honoree today, Dr. Okpara, will do. Ladies and gentlemen, I must confess my most significant lesson of leadership, namely, people are not intrinsically bad. Good leadership and good governance will always command high respect, acceptability, and the cooperation from the followers. This is my experience in the recent protest situation, where not a fly was hurt, nor any farthing stolen or damaged in my state. We all became defenders. We all became defenders of our common patrimony and image. This is in contrast with the ENSA saga, where we are still counting our losses. Good governance is the game changer, you would say. Dear compatriots, it has not been roller coaster. It has not been roller coaster. Sorry, I've been asked to cut short, but this has been very important for Cross River State, and we are not playing with it. So if the televisions will go, they can go. We will continue until we finish. Because I have to take the report here back home, and for everybody to be sure that we are ably represented, and that we show that this was our hero, the foundation of our agric till tomorrow. My dear compatriots, it has not been roller coaster during the take-off period of my administration. We have encountered a number of challenges, and we are not deterred, but determined to overcome them. Idleness that breeds criminality has been tackled through the proposed agro-industrial revolution. Illegal lumbering and massive deforestation have made strong deforestation task force that reports directly to me. Dilapidated infrastructures such as water reservoirs and broken pipelines, abandoned public transport system, sport facilities, potholes have been renovated. Unpaid promotion arrears, pension and gratuities have received urgent attention by lifting the ban on employment. Implementation of promotions, immediate computation and payment of arrears, while prioritizing completion of projects started by other administrations. Also, our traditional institutions have been strengthened and upgraded to give more responsibility to our royal fathers. In the areas of security and community policing, And most importantly, our internally generated revenue strategies have been completely reformed, enabling citizens and business owners to pay their taxes with ease and willingness, as witnessed in the turnaround and increase in our revenue to the tune of 32.4 billion. I'm not going to take you any longer than to say I thank you for your patience, which has enabled me to present a portrayal of our patriot, His Excellency Right Honorable Dr. Michael Okpara, as well as proceed to tell my own story in Cross River State based on the discourse of good governance, challenges of leadership, mounting victories, reminiscence of Dr. Okpara's strategy. I want to say from the bottom of my heart that all of Cross River, we wish all of you and believe that Nigeria will replicate some of those things which Okpara introduced in the 60s and modernize them for our country to move to the next level. Thank you very much, and God bless you. Sorry, please, I did not recognize one of the avatars of Cross River State. I think the protocol just put him, kind of line him with other protocols when he says governors. Let me seize this opportunity to recognize distinguished Senator Leon Imoke, our able governor who we are learning his strides from where he stops. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Please, another round of applause for the performing governor of Cross River State. Just before you come in, I'd like to just, because I told you that Sir Dr. Michael Okpara has a lot of mentees. And amongst the mentees is the man who also pioneered this annual lecture in his memory, who is our guest lecturer here today, His Excellency Senator Hope Uzodimma. He has also graciously, out of his magnanimity, extended the airtime on television. I'm talking about Senator Hope Uzodimma Onwa. He has extended our airtime on TV by 1 hour. Can we please celebrate him one more time? Quickly.
So for emphasis sake, we're streaming live on TVC, Rise Television, Channels Television, and so much more. Please, but NTA is in fact, the truth of the matter here is that he is paying for extra time. I'm saying this so that the TV stations can hear me as I'm saying it. Please bear in mind that we're paying extra. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellencies. It's very remarkable that His Excellency, the Governor of Cross River State, has just done that beautiful work there. To deconcentrate the dense masculinity of the front row, we are bringing in a woman. And as you may wish to know, His Excellency Right Honorable Francis Mwifuru, Executive Governor of Ebonyi State, is one of the host governors of this event, but he is unavoidably absent because he's attending to other important issues. But he sent his able lieutenant, Her Excellency Princess Patricia Onyemechi, the Deputy Governor of Ebonyi State. He will now come forward to the podium to give us a very brief remark, we know. Yes, we have 1 hour, but we must work within the scope of that time. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for this very elegant and demure lady. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You may be seated. Your Excellency, the Governor of Imo State, our great leader, Your Excellency, my own brother, the Governor of Cross River State, Your Excellency, my own brother, my father, Senator Pius Ayim. Let me, because of what of time, humbly respect and appreciate everybody seated here. But before I go on, let me give special recognition
to our own golden grandfather of the South, Sir Arthur Eze. I respect you, sir. God bless you all. I am here all the way from Ebonyi State to represent my boss, Right Honorable Ogbonna Nwifuru. I am the Deputy Governor, but I'm not here alone. I'm here with other people from Ebonyi State to make sure that we do the needful. Therefore, I also want to thank the organizers of this program. We are all here celebrating the good legacies that our father has left behind. Without his efforts and the good legacies, we wouldn't have been here. May God bless him. And may the organizers of this program and all of us, the beneficiaries of good legacy, may we continue to pray for him and may we continue to remember him. But one question I want to ask everybody. We are here because our father has worked tirelessly, self-denied. He denied himself of so many things. But you as a leader, tomorrow, what are you going to be known for as a leader? That is one of the questions we are going to pick here. From Ebonyi State, they said I should cut my speech short, but I'll try as much as possible. As a leader, which type of leader are you? Are you the leader that has come to unlock the potentials of the people? Or are you the leader that has come to block the people? Ask yourself that question. But as a good leader, what you are after is to make sure that you create your own leadership that will ameliorate the suffering of the people. Your own leadership should be the type that will give the people succor. Your own leadership should be the one that will write your name in a golden pen, just like what we are celebrating today. It's a question. I see it's a homework to all of us. As a woman, and the first woman to be deputy governor of Ebonyi State, yes, it has. Thank you so much. And I can see that it's the women that are clapping for me. Do it again. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all my husbands clapping for me too. God bless you. As a woman in leadership, it has not been easy. But with the prayers and a lot of things. Remember, we just come to support you. And in any leadership where you support women and give them that enabling environment, you will see that your administration will just move smoothly. And that is what we are enjoying in Ebonyi State. Our People's Charter of Needs in Ebonyi State has compassed all that we have been saying since morning. My governor, being a wonderful man, since he came on board, we have done a lot of things. A lot of our people have been sent abroad to learn one thing or the other, because we believe that when you give somebody education, when you train somebody, it is better than giving the person money. And in no distant time, Ebonyi State, as you all know, will soon be the pride of this nation. Also, we work collectively. As a leader, work with your people. Don't create a barrier. Communication goes a long way. If you communicate effectively with your people, you will be able to know where the problems are. And you'll be able to know where to solve the problem. Be a leader that will be close to the people. Be a leader that will listen to the people. Be a leader that when they call you, it will be always on phone. But go to Ebonyi State, my boss is there 24 hours doing the job. And that is why I am here representing him. Others should emulate that. Let us be close to our people. Let us be close and know their problems and provide solution. Because for every leader, why you are called a leader is for you to provide solutions and to be there for your people. And these are the qualities of a leader. Also in Ebonyi State, accountability is very paramount. Once in a while as a leader, call your people for a meeting. Give your stewardship. Tell them what is happening in your government. Don't assume. Don't let people assume. Tell them the truth. Let them know the truth. And from there, you will ease yourself from a lot of headache. That is also part of leadership. Also in Ebonyi State, because I keep making reference in Ebonyi State, we talked of agriculture. We all know that we have all gone back to land. There is no any other way. Oil has dried, nothing than land. All of us are back to land. And we know that Ebonyi State is being known for that product, rice. If you go to market, what the first thing you ask is Ebonyi rice. I want to tell you now that Ebonyi rice is all over the world because we have gone through mechanization. We have improved in a lot of things. We have started our irrigation, which is also working. Soon and very soon, we are going to rule the world. On this note, my people, there's not too much grammar. We are happy to be here, and we are happy to celebrate our father, a good icon that has gone, but his legacy keeps living. I want to appreciate everybody all the way from Ebonyi State, and on behalf of my boss, we say, collectively, if we can work with one mind, collectively, if we can have one focus, there is nothing we cannot get in Southeast. We have it all here. It's just for us to harness all the potentials, the intelligence, and everything we have. And by the time you know it, Southeast will rule the world. I appreciate you all, and God bless you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. May I, at this juncture, call for a resounding applause for her one more time, speaking on behalf of the Executive Governor of Ebonyi State, Honorable Francis Mwefero. We recognize the present Senator, Your Excellency, Senator Ambassador Anthony George Manzo, former Chief of Staff to the President of the 6th and 7th Senate, Distinguished Senator Dr. David Mark. Please can we give him a round of applause? Thank you for coming. It is at this juncture that I invite very quickly the distinguished chairman of his occasion to take the podium for a few more moments. Can we please welcome him with a resounding applause, Your Excellency, Senator Anyim Pius Anyim GCON.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you can agree with me that this lecture series need be restructured. And I have carefully watched most of the speakers struggle in 3 different aspects of Dr. Okpara: leadership, agriculture, industrialization, each of which can engage us for the whole day. I want to sincerely thank all those that had spoken, and it's been lectures upon lectures, lectures upon lectures, lectures upon lectures. I sympathize with the guest lecturer because your lecture would have been delivered by many. So let me remind us that this event is structured in 3 segments. 1 is the lecture series. 2 is the unveiling of the Leadership Institute. Then 3 is the award, prize award ceremony. And I want to plead with us. We are going to spend a lot of time here, but every moment spent here is worth spending here. Are you with me? So, without wasting much time, let me have the honor to get at the core of why we are here. That is to say, to bring up the guest lecturer, after which the guest lecturer will now lead all of us to unveil the Leadership Institute. Thereafter, the award follows. Please be comfortably seated and be sure that everything will go in a very fast mode. I am therefore honored to bring to the podium the special guest lecturer, the man of the moment, known to all of you. If you like, if you like, yeah, you use that. Okay. Please. Let me also, don't be too much in a hurry, Anwa. Let me also notify us that the co-chair of this event, my friend and my brother, the former governor of Cross River State, Chief Clement Abry, will moderate the lecture. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please take your seat and savor the delivery by His Excellency Senator Hope Uzodimma, Governor of Imo State, Chairman Governors Forum Southeast, Chairman APC Progressive Governors Forum. Please, can you help me? If you like, call him Onwa.
Thank you. Thank you so much, the chairman of the occasion. Your Excellency, the governor of Cross River State, my dear brother, distinguished Senator Bassi Otu, the chairman of today's occasion, His Excellency, distinguished Senator Pius Anyim Pius, and former Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Your Excellency, Princess Patricia Ubila, ably representing my dear brother, the Governor of Ebonyi State, Right Honorable Francis Nwifuru. Our leader and great philanthropist, Prince Ato Ezenukwu, Chief Uzodimma Okpara, the chairman of Dr. Michael Okpara Foundation, distinguished senators here present, using my own senator, Senator Osita Izunaso, as a direct point of contact to enter the National Assembly complex to acknowledge the deputy chairman, South, of the largest party in Black and White Africa, chapter, members and leaders of our great party, the All Progressive Congress, Honorable Minister of Science and Technology and Innovation, Chief Uche Nnaji, and through him, other ministers, both serving and non-serving, the chairman, Imo Council of Elders, and the secretary to the government of all the 9 states and other states in attendance here. The Right Honorable Speaker of Imo State House of Assembly, whom I'm very loyal to, Honorable Chike Olembe, and other members of Imo State House of Assembly in our midst here this afternoon. Former and serving public officers here present, representatives of other governors of the Southeast, my dear brother, the governor of Abia State, my dear brother, the governor of Enugu State, the governor of Anambra State. I want to acknowledge the presence of the Director General of Southeast Governors Forum, distinguished Senator Uche Ekwunife Iyom, heads of religious organizations, traditional leaders, women organizations that are here, members of the board of Dr. Michael Okpara Foundation, not forgetting Ambassador K. Emuche, the Secretary General of Ohaneze Ndigbo Worldwide, and other members and leaders of Ohaneze in our midst. Captains of industries, distinguished invited guests, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. I want to, before we go into this lecture, which is now, I don't know whether it's lecture number 3 or number 4, having regards to the number of lectures we've received here this afternoon, humbly in honor of the great hero we are celebrating today, acknowledge the death of one of his great followers that recently happened, the immediate chairman or president general of Ohaneze Ndigbo, Chief Engineer Emmanuel Iwanyanwu, and invite all of us to stand for a 1-minute silence in honor of this great son of ours. May the soul of Chief Engineer Emmanuel Iwanyanwu, Aheja Gamba Ndigbo, and the souls of all the faithful departed through the mercy of God rest in peace. Amen. Sit down. I am most delighted to stand before you this afternoon, you, the esteemed audience, to speak on a topic that resonates with the very essence of public service, which is service above self, lessons from the leadership philosophy of Dr. Michael Okpara. As we gather here, we find ourselves at a crucial juncture in our nation's history. The challenges we face today, from economic hardships to social unrest, echo the trials of the past. Yet, in the inspiring legacy of leaders like Dr. Michael Okpara, we find a beacon of hope and a roadmap for progress. Dr. Okpara's tenure as Premier of Eastern Nigeria from 1959 to 1966 was marked by visionary leadership, unwavering integrity, and a deep commitment to the welfare of his people. His philosophy of service above self wasn't just a catchy slogan. It was a guiding principle that transformed lives and built communities. Today, I want to explore how this powerful idea of putting service before self-interest can shape our approach to governance and development. In the process, I hope to share lessons from Dr. Okpara's remarkable leadership and how it impacted Imo State, which was part of the Eastern region that he governed. But before then, let me recall that I have just returned from Lagos, where a few weeks ago, I delivered this year's public lecture by the Yoruba Tennis Club, So when I received the invitation for today's event, I almost turned it down because I didn't want my employers, the Imo people, to think that I was devoting more time to delivering public lectures and seeking the betterment of Nigeria above their immediate interests, which is my core mandate. But I reckon that if I had decided to turn down this invitation for any reason, some of my brothers and sisters might see me as Okammanama. They would conveniently have forgotten that it was not long ago that I delivered the 52nd convocation lecture of our own University of Nigeria in Nsukka. So I had to be here. I also believe that the good people of Imo State fully understand and that I will never check my duties, and that today is a day set aside to celebrate one of the greatest leaders of our time from the Southeast, our beloved and charismatic SY leader, popularly known as M.I. Power. Let me, at this point, express my deepest appreciation to the Michael Okpara Foundation and Verbatim Media Group for not only finding me worthy of the award, but also for the honor of delivering this lecture. Your invitation letter stated, Your Excellency, we are proud of your achievements. Your vision and programs for good governance and development in Imo State are in sync with the impactful spirit and development ideas of Dr. Okpara. I do not know if you were clothing me in a borrowed robes or just wanted me to play Elijah, clenching to the ropes of his master Elijah, to have that power transferred to him. However, I'm immensely very grateful to you for thinking highly of me. Yet, that will not make me forget that we are having a conversation about Dr. Michael Okpara, whose shoes remain big for most of us. Almost 60 years since he left the political stage, we are talking of a man whose political philosophy, encapsulated in pragmatic socialism, appeared so simple, yet so deep. We are talking of a fearless politician who knew no boundaries, a man who believed so much in inclusivity as a weapon of conquest, and of course, a man whose fables regaled us as young adults and fired our zeal as leaders. Although he operated in a different space and circumstance, his ideals remain as fresh and relevant as they were 60 years ago. Yes, we can strive to follow in his footsteps, yet attempting a comparison will be presumptuous or even impudent. Now, it's instructive that while the event organizers asked me to speak on the topic, Service Above Self, Lessons from the Leadership Philosophy of Dr. Michael Okpara, they also graciously permitted me to use that same opportunity to share my experience in leadership and governance. As we are aware, tons of literature have been written about this legend and his legendary services to the people of the then Eastern region, comprising the current 9 states of Abia, Anambra, Ebonyi, Enugu, Imo, Bayelsa, Rivers, Cross River, and Akwa Ibom State. Some of us have been privileged to read this literature, which includes several books. One of the most fascinating of them all, in my opinion, is the one written by the veteran public relations guru, Mazi Kano Ofonri. The book is titled Portraits of a Leader, the biography of Dr. Michael Okpara, published in Owerri in 1983. Another equally interesting one is Power and Governance, the legacy of Dr. Michael Okpara, by Onyema Ugochukwu, published by Dr. Ihono Kara Okpara Foundation in 1997. What it means is that whatever Dr. Okpara did, whether it is about his philosophy of governance or his legacies, is already in the public domain. All we are now doing is to interrogate, analyze, and seek to understand why he did what he did. By seeking such understanding, we broaden our knowledge and enhance our capacity to improve upon what he did. We can describe Dr. Okpara as an enigma. We can also say that he was the elephant some blind men tried to understand, each based on his perception of feeling. Above all, we can say that Okpara, dead or alive, has continued to challenge and stimulate our intellect and drive our vision towards attaining excellence in whatever we do in governance and leadership generally. I was only a year old when Dr. Okpara became the Premier of Eastern Nigeria in 1959. Before then, he had been a cabinet minister in charge of health and agriculture. Under the parliamentary system, you cannot be a minister unless you are already a member of the parliament. This implies that Dr. Okpara became involved in politics and the elections before the age of 39, when he became the Premier of the then Eastern region. By 1979, when he returned from exile, I was just 21 years old, and coincidentally, the youth leader of the defunct National Party of Nigeria, NPN, in my state. But his history had gone before us, which is why the National Party of Nigeria then worked so hard to attract him to the party. Before he died in 1984, the military did not allow us to fully put into practice his experience and lessons about the sustainability of the Second Republic. But there comes the personal qualities that defined the man, Okpara. Before we examine the lessons of his selfless service to Nigeria, and Eastern Nigeria in particular, let us examine the recurring qualities that define this great leader's life and political career. Number one, education. Dr. Michael Okpara was highly educated and qualified as a medical officer at a tender age before venturing into politics. Thus, he was equipped intellectually, mentally, and physically to deal with the rigors associated with politics and leadership. Most people who jumped into politics these days do so without even an address or occupation or profession, and are generally ill-equipped to confront the challenges of political leadership. When you consider politics as a meal ticket or occupation, your focus will be on acquiring wealth, luxury of the civil service. Hence, he boldly resigned to set up a private practice. Are today's politicians and aspiring leaders prepared to take a calculative risk for our future? In my opinion, any man who is not prepared to take a risk cannot become a successful leader. Number two, loyalty. Dr. Okpara was loyal to his leader, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe. When there was a revolt against the leadership of Azikiwe, he was among the few who stood by him, because Okpara believed that betrayal was and still is a mortal sin in politics. None of those who betrayed the great Zik at that crucial moment became a premier. Okpara, through his loyalty, became not just the premier, but also the leader of NCNC. That is the stuff that leadership is made of. Most of our politicians today are not patient enough to learn that the art of loyalty is very necessary for a successful political career. Some are driven by the inordinate quest for money and position, to the extent that betraying their principles means absolutely nothing again. Number 3, experience. Before he became a premier, as we all know, he was a cabinet minister. He learned the ropes from his masters. He understudied those before him and served diligently in lesser capacities. Unsurprisingly, when he was entrusted with the ultimate prize of leadership, Dr. Okpara excelled beyond the imagination of many. Some of us didn't serve as commissioners, even before becoming governors. But in my own case, I was an effective party man. Starting as a youth leader, I served as a board member. Let me pause for Mama Peace of Africa to sit down. The Igbos would say that you should learn to carry others' bags before others can carry your own bag. Do we follow this doctrine of tutelage as exemplified by the life of Dr. Okpara? Number 4, character. In most dictionaries, character is defined as a distinguishing feature of a man's life. It is also a complex of mental or ethical traits of an individual, which can also be summed up as his moral strength. If we must tell ourselves the truth, a weak man can never be a good leader. A man deficient in morals cannot be a responsible leader, because he would find it hard to differentiate between wrong and right policies. Finally, someone lacking in honor and with questionable character can never be entrusted with leadership. From grooming, Okpara emerged as a leader because he possessed these aforementioned intrinsic qualities, which I have enumerated. But the philosophical foundations of Okpara's governance model has to be looked into. We need to look at the philosophical foundations that drove Okpara's governance model. This will help us appreciate where he was coming from and why he achieved so much. Okpara's pragmatic socialism
During the administration of Dr. Michael Okpara, the Cold War was at its peak. It was a struggle between capitalism with a free market economy and communism with a sprinkle of socialism. The emerging independent nations of Africa were torn between these two ideological differences, and it took its toll on the economies of various nations. As the United States of America and the then Soviet Union struggled for the global spread of their respective socio-economic systems and ideologies, Dr. Okpara abandoned them, developed his pragmatic socialism, and implemented his programs. A pedestrian definition of socialism would be the ownership of means of production by the state alone. Many socialists believed and still believe that socialism should be built slowly by political and economic actions of those seeking a more accessible and more just society. This is, of course, in sharp contrast with communism, which seeks absolute control of not just means of production, but also means of living. So both socialism and communism reject capitalism in favor of wealth equity, public control of the means of production, and the socio-economic power of the working class. So when Dr. Michael Okpara opted for pragmatic socialism, what did he have in mind? Let us first understand in this context what pragmatism means, since we now have an idea of what socialism stands for. In a layman's knowledge and understanding, pragmatism simply means being practical in a sensible way. In other words, it means dealing with issues or challenges sensibly and realistically in practical rather than theoretical considerations. If we accept that, it means that Dr. Okpara in his governance model was enamored by socialism only for as far as it was applied pragmatically to achieve the results he intended. In retrospect, I believe that this model drove his industrial and agricultural revolution for the 6 years that he was in office as the Premier of Eastern Nigeria. In describing those years, a writer posited, under Dr. Okpara, Eastern Nigeria witnessed phenomenal developmental strides in all facets of life: education, industry, agriculture, and infrastructure. His legendary sense of urgency in the agricultural revolution could be appreciated through the establishment of the Eastern Nigeria Development Corporation. If we recall correctly, it was under the Eastern Nigeria Development Corporation that the phenomenal revolution in agriculture and industrialization gained traction under the Okpara regime. It was not a happenstance. It was a carefully planned initiative that was clinically executed with outstanding results. It was a product of the Eastern Nigeria Development Plan of 1962 to 1968. After a successful infrastructural development, the government discovered two important issues. One, the population of the citizens of the Eastern region was increasing, and therefore there was a need to plan for their feeding. That gave rise to agriculture. Second, many people were graduating from secondary schools and universities. Actually, over 300 expected graduates were being churned out on an annual basis, and there was a need to plan for their employment in the future. That gave rise to Okpara's program of industrialization. Indeed, in his speech at the official opening of Nigerian Glass House Limited in Port Harcourt in August 1963, Dr. Okpara explained the reasons for industrialization, emphasizing the need to abreast of technology, generate employment for the youth, and boost the regional economy. In the aforementioned development plan, the agricultural revolution was to go hand in glove with the industrial revolution to increase productivity and improve the standard of living of the citizenry. What happened between 1962 and 1966 is well known to all of us. Port Harcourt became the region's industrial hub. Many industries were built, including the prestigious presidential hotels, both in Enugu and in Port Harcourt. We know about the farm settlements and their usefulness. We know that more than 2 million cocoa seedlings were planted in the Ecom area alone. We know how palm fruits were processed, new seedlings planted across the region. When you see any cocoa plantation today, be it at Ajata, Ibeku, or Abozu in Ozakole, you know it is the imprimatur of Okpara. It is the same with rubber. Rubber plantations in Akampa, Ozu, Abam, and many others, and of course cashew plantations in Okigwe and Isukwato areas. My aim here is not to regale you with information already at your disposal, but to emphasize that vision and planning were the root of the achievements of that era. And the spread of the projects across all parts of eastern Nigeria was a product of just mind. By the time Okpara left office due to the military coup of January 1966, the economy of the eastern region was judged to be the fastest growing one in the world. Today, those who are agitating for the return of regional governments point to the fact that the Okpara's era was a proof of how a government can run efficiently with minimal interference from the federal, and then it becomes successful. Scholars have continued to also refer to that era as one that should signal the renaissance of purposeful leadership when there is a political will to do so. That, of course, tells us a lot about the leadership trajectory of this great leader, Dr. M.I. Okpara. While agriculture and industrialization were Okpara's signature projects, they were not only his core achievements. As a medical officer, he couldn't have left the health sector unattended. As an educated man, Okpara valued education and paid adequate attention to it, including a sizable investment he made in the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, to boost the training of engineers and teachers. However, his focus on agriculture and industrialization was in line with his pragmatic socialism aimed at controlling the means of production. His scholarship award and the building of basic infrastructure, including health facilities, aligned with his socialist inclination. After all, he was a member of the Zikist movement. It could therefore be said that he successfully passed through those philosophical orientations and triumphed, thus leaving unprecedented legacies in the region. The vital question is whether another person using the same governance model as Okpara would, whether the person could still come out with the same grand achievements. In other words, were those models and initiatives peculiar to Okpara such that it became difficult for successive governments after him to sustain and improve upon those legacies? This is a big question that we should try to find out. Why, after all this platform that was set out by Dr. Michael Okpara and the achievements that followed, why successive governments didn't continue to improve on them? Many will say the currency has lost its value because Okpara's annual budget did not exceed 20 million pounds. There are thousands of excuses, some genuine, others spurious, why the momentum of the Okpara era could not be sustained. But suffice it to say that Dr. Michael Okpara was in his class. Yes, when we examine the achievements of his contemporaries in other regions, we can see that they too made their modest efforts in development. However, the Eastern region was described as the fastest growing economy in the world. For him to have made that extraordinary impact globally, this son of a laborer who rose above poverty and deprivation to conquer his world was imbued with extraordinary wisdom, integrity, and resilience. Undoubtedly, he rose above his peers in all the endeavors he was associated with. Now let us try to go into lessons from his leadership philosophy. Number one, honest, selfless service. In 1995, the government of United Kingdom set up the Nolan Commission on Standards in Public Life and charged them to identify a set of standards that would guide the conduct of holders of public office. In their report, which is now widely referred to as the Nolan Report, they identified the 7 principles of public life as selfless, integrity, objectivity, accountability, openness, honesty, and leadership. It is not surprising, therefore, that selflessness is the first of these principles. Selfless service or leadership refers to prioritizing the needs of others above leaders' self-interest. Selfless service is crucial for addressing societal challenges and delivering value for citizens. This usually requires the leader to regularly engage with the citizens in decision-making, fostering transparency and accountability. This way, a government or leader can build trust and legitimacy. Selflessness also requires fiscal responsibility and efficiency in using taxpayers' money to maximize value and minimize waste. In addition, selfless leadership is vital in advancing public policy objectives that benefit the larger society as a whole. Rising above partisan interests while focusing on the common good of citizens enables leaders to address inequalities and by so doing achieve greater and far-reaching success. From the foregoing, one can argue that selflessness was pivotal to the success story of the man we are talking about today. Despite being a premier for 6 years, Dr. Michael Okpara could not build a house for himself. The story had it that his friends hurriedly built a house for him so he could have a shelter when he returned from exile. There is no greater lesson than this as far as selfless service is concerned. This puts Michael Okpara in the same league as Mahatma Gandhi in India. He was a flamboyant politician, no doubt, but he was not reckless. He had unlimited access to public funds, but restrained himself from stealing. He always placed the common interest above personal gains. Like the leaders of today, he must have been tempted by contractors who handled road projects, housing projects, industrial projects, and many more, yet he remained true to himself. His rendering of honest and dedicated service without soiling his hands in corruption is an enduring lesson that those of us currently in public office should emulate. Public office holders should live within their legitimate means. I stand here to tell you that no public servant who lives within his statutory income will ever be hungry in life. However, temptations, pressures from different quarters, lack of discipline, and inordinate quest for wealth are responsible for the unbridled corruption prevalent in our society today. Number 2, integrity. Next to honest service is integrity. This is another prominent inclusion in the 7 principles of public life. Integrity is a summation of one's character proven over time. Integrity also means the protection and the honoring of one's name. Shakespeare captured it when he declared thus, "If you fish my name, you have taken everything from me." Igbos call it Eziafa, or good name. It is a reputation built over the years. Okpara had that going for him. 40 years after his demise, he is still celebrated and called the epitome of visionary leadership and selfless service. Some former public officers or office holders who left just 5 years ago have been forgotten or remembered with hisses here and there. Number 3, inclusivity. I have taken time to study the Okpara phenomenon. One of the greatest legacies of his leadership was inclusivity. He was an Igbo man, yet most of his developmental initiatives were concentrated in areas outside Igbo land. Port Harcourt became the garden city because of Okpara. From the glass house factory to the presidential hotel and dozens of other industrial concerns, the administration of Okpara made Port Harcourt the industrial city that it is today. He worked for the greatest good of the majority. Thus, it didn't matter to him where projects were cited because he believed in comparative advantage in economics. Each city received attention based on what it could offer or where it had the greatest strength. This hall today is full of contemporary politicians. Can we do what Okpara did? Our honest answer should be one of the lessons from Okpara's leadership dynamics. By being fair and just, Okpara taught us an enduring lesson of leadership. Number 4 is followership. Okpara's simple and contented lifestyle earned him respect, earned him influence and followership. In Nigerian politics today, we have a lot of people in leadership positions, but some of them do not have followers. Leaders have to set ethical and moral standards which their followers can emulate. It is similar to raising children in a family. Children are taught more by the actions of their parents than their words. I am not in a position to say that it was this court-like followership that saved his life during the coup. I will not also say that he was more popular than his peers because of that simple way of life. But I do know that his friends would not have gathered to build a house for him upon his return from exile if he had not learned 1 or 2 things from him. Especially, most of his friends attest to the fact that he was humble, he was honest, and that guided and brought him loyalty. Number 5 is meticulous planning. The Holy Bible forewarned that nobody sets out to build a house without first sitting to analyze the cost. The Eastern Nigerian Development Plan of 1962 to 1968 was the catalyst for the successes recorded by Dr. Michael Okpara during his tenure. As I mentioned earlier, he took a careful look at the progress his predecessor made and proceeded to plan for the future. I sincerely recommend that document. To our current and emerging leaders, not just because of its comprehensive details, but also because of implementation precision. Forecasting what will happen in 5 years with the application of variables made that development plan one of the best sought after documents. I sincerely believe that any leader who is as thorough, dedicated, and disciplined as Okpara will surely achieve the kind of result that he did for Eastern Region in the 6 years of his premiership. Number 6 is believe in continuity. One of the factors that contributed to Okpara's successful tenure was the fact that he stooped to learn from another master, the legendary Zik of Africa himself. As the premier, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe laid the foundation. Okpara built on it. Okpara did not discard the developmental initiatives of the great Zik of Africa, but he improved on them. His 1962 to 1968 development plan was built upon an earlier one implemented by Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe as premier. Areas like education and road infrastructure were covered. Okpara built upon them and even leveraged their availability for his runaway agricultural and industrialization policies. The lesson, of course, is that government is a continuum, and anyone who wishes to succeed must first understudy those who have succeeded in the position they seek to occupy. Number 7 is political tolerance. It is instructive that Okpara's tenure lasted that long without any recorded scandal. I said recorded because I had tales of the man bulldozing his way during campaigns in the West, and that even when Chief Awolowo refused to receive him at the government house, he would still storm the place to register his presence. That is dynamic. That is charisma, devoid of any political bitterness. Although NCNC was dominant in the eastern part of the country, I didn't read of the opposition being emasculated or politicians being hounded because of their political affiliation. In other words, tolerance was a virtue as far as Okpara was concerned. The question is, are the present politicians toeing that line? Number 8, acting with precision. But most importantly, the profound lesson from Okpara was that he knew how to strike when the iron was hot. He never tarried because of indecision or procrastination. He brilliantly embraced the policies and programs that have a direct impact on the people, irrespective of ideological differences. His pragmatic socialism benefited both the government and the people. It was like a man eating his cake while still having it. If he had given heed to those theoretical considerations before implementing the Eastern Nigerian Development Plan, what we know today of the Southeast and South-South would have recorded a stunted growth. But by shunning corruption and embracing developments, he wrote his name in gold. That, I believe, is the living lesson all of us should learn from his leadership. Now, taking advantage of the offer by the organizers of this lecture to link my Imo experience, there is no doubt that this inspiring story of legendary MI power has rubbed off on me in my tour of duty as the governor of Imo State. Although I didn't have the luxury of understudying directly with my predecessors, I leveraged the experience of this master and others like him. I said I was only 21 years old when Okpara returned from exile, but the impression I had of him and that of Chief Sam Mbakwe, another charismatic leader, prepared me for where I am today. Unlike others who had leadership thrust on them, it is the grace of God and my struggle that made me to become governor of Imo State. I started this journey in 2003, running for an election against an incumbent. After that, my people persuaded me to represent them in the Senate. That was in 2011. I served for 8 years in the Senate. After that, there was another invitation, this time from Imo people, asking me to contest for the governorship election for the collective interest of Imo people. I also responded. The election was held and I won convincingly. Listen. But the mandate was stolen. And I had to spend 7 months before I reclaimed the mandate through the courts. Thereafter, I hit the ground running because I was already prepared to be governor. I had my blueprint for the governance of Imo State, in addition to the manifesto of my great party, the All Progressive Congress. I was not deterred by the fact that there was no formal handover of power to me, nor by the fact that the state had been run down and abandoned. But I was determined to move on, and I did. Under my prosperity agenda, encapsulated in reconstruction, rehabilitation, and recovery, I moved fast to get Imo working again. Starting from the civil service, which is the engine of government, to road construction and reconstruction, my administration was able to restore and recover the years the locusts had eaten. Today, we can boast of having the most efficient and automated civil service east of the Niger. This is our pride. They are well motivated, the civil service is working, salaries paid regularly and as at when due, pensions and gratuities being given the attention it deserves. That gave me an idea of how to tackle other needs of the people. The Owerri capital city was without public water when I emerged as the governor of Imo State for 15 years. I restored that and it started working. Adapam Nigerian Limited, an agricultural legacy of Dr. Michael Okpara, was in ruins. I got it working again. Because the roads in the states were in terrible shape, I started working on them. As of November 2023, I had delivered on more than 100 roads, including the signature projects of the Olu-Owerri Road, dualized, the Owerri-Okigwe Road, and the Owerri-Umuahia Road. I also checked the perennial flooding in parts of Owerri City. In education, the administration is funding and running 3 universities, and the only state in Nigeria running 3 universities on their own, including several nursing and midwifery schools. We have also embarked on the rehabilitation of all primary and secondary schools in the state. The Imo State University Teaching Hospital, Olu, which was hitherto barred from producing medical doctors because of the inadequacy of facilities and the withdrawal of the accreditation, is now up and running. For the past 3 years, it has been churning out medical doctors. We have 3 brand new hospitals built and equipped to world class, and as well as getting others fully rehabilitated. As usual, our students maintain their premier positions in external examinations because the schools are once more working and now well equipped with qualified teachers manning them. It might interest you to know that all the farm settlements established by Dr. Michael Okpara in what is now known as Imo State have all been rehabilitated and they are in operations. Millions of palm trees are being planted across the state to stimulate more interest in agriculture for sustainable development. Encouraging food security was Michael Okpara's vision. Happily, it is the focal point of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's led administration. It is also the vision of my government. Currently, all the communities in the state are being encouraged to establish one agro-based enterprise through our One Kindred, One Business initiative, OKOBI. This will stimulate industrial growth in the rural areas, create jobs, and stimulate the state's economy. With the excellent network of roads spanning the 27 local government areas of the state, the movement of goods and services has become more accessible, thus relieving pressure on the urban centers. For our youths, we have suffered unemployment due to the global economic recession. We created a Ministry for Empowerment and Digital Economy to equip them with relevant digital and other skills for employment and self-employment. Thousands of them have been trained in various skills and provided tools and money to start up their businesses. Women also benefited from the scheme. Also, under the Skill Up Imo project, thousands of other youths have been trained in the digital economy, and the requisite packages presented to them. Currently, many of them are working abroad, while others have become employers of labor. The bottom line is that my government has been planning for the future of our youths. And just like the Great Okpara rolled out the Eastern Development Plan, I have initiated an Imo Development Plan, which will run from 2023 to 2034. Under this plan, which obviously will outlive my administration, a holistic and deliberate roadmap has been set for the economic renaissance of our state. I've already put things in motion through the dredging of the Oguta Lake to the Atlantic Ocean, which will change the economic landscape of not only Imo State, but the entire Southeast. The economic potential of this project is enormous, including an energy-free trade zone, which will leverage the abundance of hydrocarbon deposits in the area to attract investors, bat industries, and grow a robust economy. The job creation potentials of this zone is excellent indeed. During my first tenure, I embarked on rehabilitating some moribund industries and establishing new ones through a public-private partnership. Adapan Nigeria Limited, Imo Standard Shoes, the Avotopotri, and others are among the beneficiaries of this initiative. Just like the Great Okpara, I also realized that having stabilized the critical infrastructure, especially roads, and knowing that our health and the education sectors were under control and running smoothly, I decided to turn my attention to the total industrialization of the state. Realizing that this could never be feasible without a regular power supply, the government of Imo State has entered into a partnership agreement, taking out advantage of the latest alteration of our constitution, removing power from the exclusive legislative list to the concurrent legislative list. We have now, working with our technical and financial partners, created a platform to generate, transmit, and distribute electricity to the 27 local government areas of the state. The rehabilitation of the abandoned Eboma power plant, which has been recently transferred to Imo State government, is pivotal to the 24-hour power supply. And by the grace of God, this power project will be completed and commissioned in the first quarter of 2025. I must thank, at this juncture, most especially the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for approving that the abandoned Eboma power plant be transferred to Imo State, and now for Imo State to complete and utilize. This means that our artisans small and medium-scale enterprises, and of course large industries will have uninterrupted power supply to power their businesses. This will certainly enhance the economy of our state and by extension, the economy of Nigeria. In anticipation of a booming business environment, Imo State government has entered into an agreement for the building of a 200-bed 5-star Marriott Hotel in Owerri and the full rehabilitation of the iconic Concord Hotel built by Sam Mbakwe to be managed by Hilton Group chains. That would align with Okpara's vision of setting up presidential hotels in Port Harcourt and Enugu. It will boost employment. It will enhance the state's internally generated revenue and help our tourist industry to grow. Our comparative advantage as an oil-producing state, which is also awash with gas deposits, will come in handy in our industrialization drive. While I have given you a snippet of my experience in governance, let me inform you that when I started this quest for the position of governor, I made a vow to God to govern with his fear through accountability and honesty. I will never know how Dr. Michael Okpara came about that he was able to emerge untainted in his political career. But I believe that remaining true to my vow will certainly help me so far. Because as I speak, nobody can come out openly to accuse me of corruption. My close aides, and I challenge anybody, my close aides who engaged in untoward activities never knew how fast they were thrown out of government. I'm still living like in houses. As the governor of Imo State, I'm still living in houses I built before I became the governor. A few weeks ago, when I addressed Imo legislators on the occasion of their first anniversary, I again emphasized the need for us to render selfless service to the people of the state and not to be driven by the acquisition of wealth. Since I'm a human being, susceptible to making mistakes, I set up what I call the Imo Stakeholders Forum and the Elders Council to interface with me regularly. I meet with the members who comprised of former governors, deputy governors, judges, first-class traditional rulers, student leaders, and market leaders. We meet periodically to render account of stewardship to them. This is a form of accountability, one of the principles of public service. These interactions give the members of the two bodies a chance to freely criticize and advise me on the policy direction of my administration. Above all, they act as a feedback mechanism between my government and the people to render gossip and fifth columnists jobless. Let me now try to conclude. At the beginning of this lecture, I sounded a warning that there won't be any comparison between what the great Okpara did in eastern Nigeria and my modest efforts in Imo State. If for any reason you have noticed some similarities between his policies and programs of those of mine, just believe that I am one of his apostles. If by chance you notice that honest and accountable leadership is the bedrock of my administration, the way Okpara piloted his affairs, then know that I am a student of the legendary leader. If I have voraciously focused on the economic revival of Imo State as a catalyst to the prosperity agenda I marshaled out in my manifesto, then know that I have indeed learned a great lesson from the selfless and the sacrificial leadership of Dr. Michael Okpara, the MI Power himself. What is indisputable is that the legacies of MI power will continue to inspire not just our generation, but generations to come. This is why I once again commend the organizers of this lecture series for their efforts in keeping those legacies alive. In my view, Okpara remains a hero in Nigeria who has not been properly sung. Perhaps I should add that if only our political leaders of today could emulate the leadership virtues of Dr. Michael Okpara, our country will be better and more prosperous. Our challenge as his brothers, as his sisters, is never to relent in celebrating him. For indeed, he was a worthy son and noble son of Nigeria and the Igbo nation. May his great soul continue to rest in peace. And may his legacies live on as we do our best to promote and recognize his legacy. Thank you all, and may God bless all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we please give the Executive Governor of Imo State another resounding applause? You won't be wrong if you call the Governor of Imo State Dr. Michael Okpara's, Okpara Jr. And I think that is what he truly represents, as well as the governors of Cross River State, who is doing a yeoman's job, and the rest of the governors that are here. Please, can we give all of them a resounding applause one more time? Because of what Sir Dr. Michael Okpara stands for, today the VIPs here are going to get copies of Okparanomics, the economic and social philosophy of Dr. Michael Okpara, as well as lessons in the leadership and service of Dr. Michael Okpara, written in his honor, Ihanukara Okpara. Can you please applaud him in absentia? He's here with us in spirit. These are put together by Christian Igodo. But of course, as we move on, Your Excellency, we recognize the presence of our former First Lady of Nigeria. I can't hear us. I can't hear you. Can we please welcome Mama Peace, Her Excellency Dame Dr. Patience Faka Jonathan. A warm round of applause to welcome her. Well, we should be talking to us shortly, but before then, let me recognize that the Executive Governor of Anambra State, Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo, is represented here by the Commissioner for Agriculture, Dr. Foster Ihejiofo. Please a round of applause for him. The Executive Governor of Bauchi State, former Minister of the FCT, His Excellency Senator Bala Abdulkader Mohammed, is represented here by the Chief of Staff to the Governor of Bauchi State. I would like to welcome Dr. Aminu Gamawa. Please a round of applause for him. We also recognize your presence, Chief Nelly Onyinyechi Okembu, Foundation CEO, USA. We welcome you. As we also recognize the presence of Paul Mbadiwe. He is here represented by Chief Paul Mbadiwe. Okay, Chinedu Paul Mbadiwe is representing Chief Paul Mbadiwe. We welcome you. Having done this, Your Excellency, we'd like to appreciate you for that very scholarly lecture of yours. And we pray that many people listening to you and who would come across this lecture would keep it for a very long time to come, but because there's so much to gain from it. We appreciate you, sir. It is at this point in time, very quickly, before we move to the unveiling of the proposed Dr. Michael Okpara Leadership Institute, would like to quickly yield the floor to the former mother of the nation, former First Lady, our Mama Peace, Her Excellency Dame Dr. Patience Faka Jonathan. Please do me a favor by putting your hands together for her as she comes for her brief remarks, after which we'll be moving for the unveiling. Oh, I was supposed to invite the co-chair of this occasion to do this aspect for me. Please let me invite very quickly His Excellency Dr. Clement Ebri, former governor of Cross River State. Please do me a favor. Come and welcome Mama Peace to the stage, sir. Please, can we put our hands together for him very quickly? I had done your job, but I think that that was just a bit of oversight on my part. Please keep that clap coming for the chairman of the occasion.
Let me introduce you, please. I will introduce you. Your Excellencies, most distinguished ladies and gentlemen, would like to save some time. With me is the First Lady one-time First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Her Excellency Dame Patience Jonathan. She is going to deliver a very brief remarks, and after that we'll move to unveil the proposed secretariat for the Dr. M.I. Okpara leadership project. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Let me know that Michael Okpara is my own.
I think you will say so. You will say so. You will say so. That's fine for you.
Ndị Igbo kweni. Ndị Igbo kwezoni. Nigeria kweni.
Thank you, sir.
Well, I'm from Abia State. And the man we are celebrating today is my uncle from my maternal place. So we thank God for today. We really appreciate God. I'm very sorry that I came in late because I went for another program, another former First Lady's program, Stella Obasanjo's program. So I also went and honored her. Then after that, I came in here. I'm very sorry for coming in late. Thank you very much. May I especially recognize His Excellencies, the governors that are here present, especially the governor of Imo State, Senator Hope Uzodimma, my friend and my brother. Thank you for coming. And His Excellency, Senator Prince Basi Oti, former governor of Cross River State. Thank you for also coming to honor us today. Permit me to recognize the Deputy Governor that is in our midst, my dear sister, representing the Governor of Ebonyi State, Prince Patricia. Thank you for coming. Thank you, I appreciate you. May I especially recognize our brother, His Excellency, Senator Pius Anyim, former Senate President, and also during my husband's regime, Secretary to the government of the Federation, and also Chairman of this occasion. Thank you for also coming. And we can see that Anambra State Governor is fully represented here. Enugu is also fully represented here. And Abia is not left out. Thank you for all of you for coming. Distinguished senators that are here, like my brother, we can see Osita looking at me. And Ned, thank you for coming. Other senators that are here, former senators that are also here. I can see my friend directly looking at me, Uche Ekulife, and others that are here. Honorable members of House of Representatives that are here, and the former ones that are also here. Permit me to recognize ministers that are here with us and former ministers that are also here. And the traditional rulers are not left out. Imo is fully represented here. And Bayelsa, my husband's state, my own state, is also fully represented here. I can see His Royal Majesty, Spiff, also here with us, looking at us. And my son, His Excellency Bala, is also fully represented here with us. Thank you for coming. And our father, Prince Arthur Eze, thank you for this honor you have done to all of us. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. And our brother, my brother, thank you for honoring our father, your own father, the first son. You are here, and you have called and gathered all of us together to honor your father. Thank you for inviting all of us here. We appreciate you. We are always available to honor your father. We, the Igbo people, we are there for all the way. We are there for you. Thank you so much. And the prize, you are not left out. Thank you, people, for the show. And it's for life. It's showing life. Thank you so much. AIT, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. Permit me to recognize my constituencies. I recognize the men, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, but I won't left my constituency, which is the women constituency. Women, oh yeah! Women, are you there? Are you sure that you are there? Nigerian women, raise your hand. We are here. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I am pleased to witness this year's occasion of Sir Michael Okpara Leadership Lecture, an award ceremony, an annual event to honor an icon of repute and youngest premier of the former Eastern region, who lived from 1920 to 1984. This event is put together by the Dr. Michael Okpara's Foundation to encourage and promote good governance, integrity in public service, and excellence in service delivery, attributes which the late Sir Michael Okpara cherished. It is noteworthy that our father, Sir Michael Okpara, knew that investment in education was key to the development of not just his region, but the entire country. I showed this by awarding scholarships to brilliant students from the region and Nigeria as a whole. This good work did not go unnoticed, as many educational institutions named their schools after him. You can see where His Excellency, the Governor of Imo State, also cherished him and emulates him. Sir Michael Okpara's investments in agriculture cannot be forgotten. He encouraged many people to go into farming, thus bringing down the cost of foodstuff at that time. Sir Michael Okpara legacies are too numerous to mention, but I urge you to hold firm to those legacies for the progress of the country in general. Let the well-to-do among us invest in education of the citizens through award of scholarships, educational grants, and incentives to encourage teaching and learning. Let us also embark the legacies of peace which our father, Sir Michael Okpara, stood for, knowing that without peace, no society can develop. Our country is blessed with fertile land, which supports the growth of all kinds of crops. Let us go back to the farms to make food available for our country and the long run for exports. Let me thank the organizers for honoring me with this today, for honoring me with the great prize for outstanding contribution to humanity in recognition of my contribution to the emancipation of not just the women folks, but also the less privileged. Before I end my speech, I will especially talk to my people, the Igbos. We, the Igbos, we have a very fertile land. In those days, when I lived with my grandmom, we always farm. We go to farm. We go to farm. We don't leave farm. We don't leave our father's land. because we cherish our father's land. Why not we go back there and help our people? Because if we can go back to farm, there will be no states that will lack food. There will be no states that will cry for food in Southeast. We can be proud of ourselves. So let's, our governors, those well-to-do people from our place, even the poorest person, you can farm, you can open farm, open your land to the size of your hand, to the size of yourself, and to the size that can accommodate your people. So let us go back to the farm. Let us go back to those things our father and our mother teach us. Because when I was with my grandmom, she takes me to farm. So we are ready to farm. We can go back to farm and make our people proud and make our region proud. Thank you, and God bless us for coming. We are always there for one another. God bless you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Please can we take our seats? Pave way for Mama Peace to take her seat. Please can we have another round of applause for the former First Lady? She has charged all of us to go back to farm, and we must take that very seriously. Thank you. Moving on very quickly because time is fast spent, Your Excellencies, without much ado, we'll be inviting the guest lecturer to be joined the guest lecturer, the Governor of Imo State, who chairs the Southeast Governors Forum, will be joined by his counterpart from Cross River, and will also be inviting the convener of this program, as well as the representatives of the Governor of Ebonyi State, the Governor of Anambra, the Governor of Bauchi State, to also join them on the stage, as well as the rep of the Governor of Abia State for the unveiling, as well as our co-chairman who's chairing the occasion of this material sign, former Governor of Cross River State, Dr. Clement Ebri, and of course we'll be inviting Chief Prince Atoeze to join them as we go for the unveiling of the proposed Secretariat Complex for Dr. Michael Okpara Leadership Institute. It is after that that we'll go straight to the award ceremony. Can we please have you join us on the stage for the unveiling? Sir Atoeze, I hope he's not leaving. Your Excellencies, please.
Please clear the stairway. Clear the stairway. Thoroughfare. Thank you. Are we?
Director.
Why are they doing the unveiling?
Okay, I've just been told, Your Excellency, he's already open, but of course that's where you are unveiling. This is the proposed secretariat complex of Dr. Michael Okpara Leadership Institute. We'll invite Your Excellency to make some very brief remarks, and then of course you do the unveiling, and then we do it the needful. Whatever funds, Architect AK, if you are here, can you just take 2 minutes to quickly explain this drawing to their excellencies? Can we pave way for them? Journalists can stand on the other side. Please allow their excellencies to come forward. Please, the space won't be enough for all of us, so just the governors and the persons we've invited, the co-chair of the occasion, representative of the deputy speaker, representative of the governor of Bauchi, governor of Abia, governor of Anambra, and the governors that are present with us, governor of Imo and governor of Cross River State. Architect AK, please. We have the mic for you here. Quickly. Take 2 minutes. No protocols. Architect. Here, sir.
Yeah. Hello? Yeah. Okay. The chairman, governor of Imo State. Okay, please, no protocols. Here is the Michael Okpara Leadership Center. This institute that will be built at Umuahia in honor of the late Mike Power. The concept is basically exhibition halls at the entire ground floor. Then at the first floor you have lecture rooms, and at the last floor you have offices. As you get into the atrium, it's void right up to the roof. So it has a glorious interior. The building you are seeing at the right end is the conference center, just lecture hall, larger lecture halls when there are many people, and more or less a conference center. The entire place is designed with adequate parking to enable people, and everything is fully air-conditioned and smart. It's smart design so that everything is there. You have the library and you have the gymnasium. So that's just what it is. And we're hoping that to the glory of God, next time we will not be talking about it, we will be utilizing it in Jesus' name.
Well, I don't think this is called unveiling because it's already unveiled. Can we have the governor stand and take pictures around there? But quickly, the governor will be making some brief remarks from that end. So I'll go to the guest lecturer, who is our special guest lecturer at this occasion, Your Excellency, Senator Hope Uzodimma.
Your Excellencies, I think the purpose for this aspect of the program is not just to give us an architectural definition of what has been designed. It's to address how it can be realized. So I think that actually should be the issue. So we want to first start by thanking Prince Atweze for the 100 million naira donation. And the man we are celebrating today stands for so many things, including national integration and cohesion. And arising from the contribution of distinguished Senator Ned and calling for inclusion and inclusive government, I think we want him to start after Thursday, then we can all come and see whatever we can do. So let me invite distinguished Senator Ned Moko.
Excellencies and my leaders, that, well, I will support this. Is that what you want me to do? Yes. Well, I will support you with 100 million. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Another 100 million. Now, you know that the Eastern region, Dr. M.I. Power was Premier of Eastern region. So all the states, the 9 states in the old Eastern region, this should be our project. So I want to be led, both in spirit and in physical, by the governor of Cross River State.
Once more, let me profoundly thank the organizers of this. I believe that this building will represent a proper legacy, which maybe the next celebration of this Uwe might be right in this particular infrastructure. For Cross River State, it still remains the father, the foundation of both our industrial and agricultural things that we've done to date. So I think because I'm superintending over people's money, I will not, if it's when I wasn't a government servant, it would have been, Cross River State would be 50 million.
Thank you, Your Excellency. This is my brother whom I work with. Yes. So I will really want the representatives of the governors to speak state by state. And then we will bring in the private sector. Then what is remaining of it, we will put our heads together, and see how it will go. So the Abia State and the chief hosts.
Your Excellency, distinguished guest, representing His Excellency Dr. Alex Oti. Your Excellency, assurance we're going to give. One, we're very happy this is going to be situated in Omar here. So the governor is going to make every available provision to ensure, including the issuance of CFO and every assistance to be done. As a representative, I will inform my governor and he will reach my senior brother, who's at Okpara, effectively. Thank you.
Very good. I'm sure that Dr. Alex Oti will do something. Is Anambra State, yeah? Okay.
Thank you, Your Excellencies, and the chairperson of this event. I'm standing beside the Honorable, the very young herself, who has whispered something to me. Should I tell them? Okay. Now, I'm sure the governor didn't have an idea that this will be unveiled. And so he hasn't told me to say anything in particular, but he has asked me to convey his heartfelt commitment and appreciation to the organizers of the program. I'm very sure that he will give excellent support to the completion of that project.
I think the governors that are not here, I'll do my best to coordinate them. I don't want to put their representatives into trouble. Now the private sector. Can you meet and, or you want to speak one by one? Chief Tony Shokoko and give us money.
Your Excellency, I will serve without protocols. On the behalf of my company and myself and one of my friends, we will support Bido the Secretariat with the sum of 30 million naira.
30 million naira from Chief Tony Chukwu. In order not to, Bauchi State, yes. No, Bauchi.
Thank you, Your Excellencies. On behalf of my principal, who instructed me to be here and to tell you that he identifies with the legacy of Dr. Michael Okpara, and he supports this initiative. We didn't even know that it would be unveiled, but notwithstanding, he gave me 10 million naira to give today in support of this institution. Thank you.
His Excellencies, my name is Dr. George Abakahi. I'm the Southeast leader of Tinubu Support Organization. I'm pretty delighted with what is going on here. Dr. Michael Okpara did a whole lot for the Southeast, and my own governor, Senator Hope Uzodinma, is doing exactly the same thing that Dr. Michael Okpara did. On behalf of my humble self and my family, I will donate 3 million for this event.
I just got information that the president of the country saw the thing going on, and he has requested I see him that he will make a donation.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Emoy Okpara, I saw him in the Second Republic 1979 when I was 9 years old. And I didn't understand what he stood for. But later in life, when I read about him, he became my role model. And some of the things, investments we have made in the Southeast, even the cashew farm, actually emanated from his ideas. And of course, the industry we have built in Aba. So I am very delighted to be here to support this this secretariat. On behalf of Mainland Oil and Gas Limited, I will give 10 million naira.
Thank you, Kismet. Thank you, Kismet.
Okay, so the secretariat to take note of those who have made contributions. I'll work with my brothers, the governors, the ones that are here and the ones that are not here. We'll make sure that in the next 12 months, this building is commissioned. So on behalf of all of us, my brother governor, all of us, we want to commend the organizers of this event and to pray that it will be a success story, and they declare the construction of the building in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit.
Okay. The governor of Imo State, our guest lecturer, has asked that we go straight to the award presentations. And so quickly, that is what we're doing next, because time is fast spent, and quite a good number of them have other activities lined up.
Yeah, they said we should base the speech. It's Mama Chris that is presenting first. I know, I'm just showing you.
So may we all be settled, please? May we all be settled, please?
Yes, sir.
The award ceremony is next.
Okay, just before you go on, Prince Mbata has supported this project to the sum of 20 million naira. Please, a round of applause for him. Prince Mbata, we are grateful. May God replenish your pockets. Go ahead.
As we thank you all profusely for the generosity, may we all be settled. The next item on our lineup would like to invite once again to the center stage Mommy P. We need her attention. Her Excellency Dame Patience Jonathan we would like to bring you to the center stage one more time.
Of Imo State to do the presentation on our behalf. May we invite you to please come up to the stage for the presentation, sir. Paula, can you please pave way for
the guest lecturer, is coming to make presentation of awards. Your Excellency, sir. Please, sir. Do us the honor, sir.
Please listen to me. I beg you. No, we don't need to argue. We don't need to argue. He is the recipient. This is his gift. He cannot present to himself. He cannot present to himself.
How many people do you have? How many people do you have with this?
Please, can we also invite the governor of Cross River to please join him here? What will happen is you will present to Governor Hope Uzodinma, and then Governor Hope Uzodinma will present to him. Chief Clement Ebri, please join us, sir.
Calm down. I'm already behind the mic. So calm down. I'm by the podium. So trust that I'll handle it well. So you're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Please, you handle. He cannot present his gift himself. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, sir.
Thank you. This is it. This is the first. This here. Finalist. Let me announce it. Then you can bring it on. Distinguished. Okay, for the microphone.
Okay.
May we all be settled? That's okay. Please, at this time, would like to take off with the final list of winners of the Premier's Prize Award 2024. So, Eagle plaque. There's something wrong with this. The Eagle plaque will be presented by the Governor of Cross River State to his counterpart. Please make the speech.
Thank you very much. I feel indeed very humbled to be given this privilege to present this plaque of honor to His Excellency Senator Hope Uzodinma, the Executive Governor of Imo State, and of course the Chairman of All Progressive Governors Forum, in commendation of his quality leadership and commitment to good governance and service delivery in Imo State. I present to you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
No, we need it.
Yes, you will. I will travel to some locations on Saturday.
Okay, let me reciprocate the service.